Hello there, greetings. Thank you for joining us. It's Saturday night, soon to be Sunday morning. Ukraine situation is still going on. I'm not going to go too much into it. That seems to be the topic that everybody wants to know, or something around those lines, or I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. It feels like it's going to stay self-contained, and now how long it's going to go is not clear at the moment. Um, Once they take over the capital, it's technically like the war is, technically over. Of course, it's never going to be over, but it is like the Iraq war in some regards. So it doesn't mean all the negative will be removed, but quite a bit of it. You can say it was to push out a lot of the corruption. Not to say, war is ever an answer to anything, but it's uh it's kind of hard to go back and reverse on that. So it's not an easy, nothing about it's easy. So, and we probably won't know the full story on it, like ever, kind of like the Iraq war. We'll never get the full deal on it. So it's just, yeah, it's not gonna be World War III. It's so ridiculous. It's like that. I mean, I can see where people are getting that from. Yeah, if other countries jump in and calling Putin Hitler and all that, which I think it's kind of, it's not, anyway. It's what it needs to be, it seems. There is a lot of Palladian energies there, but there's also reptilian mind control. You can say reptilian forces are fighting each other from both sides, from the Ukrainian side and the Russian side. So, of course, there's other alien beings there, but it feels like the reptilian, kind of like a reptilian war. Yeah, it's happening there. A shape shifting reptilian war, of course, at least the vibrations of it. I mean, at least we're being told about it. Unlike Yemen has just kept quiet for most part. So it's something. Take what you can get. Um, and which is Yemen, it's much worse, of course. Um, so it's happened to that the best of my ability, and see what else comes through. Also, all right, one moment. Let me ground my energies. I think I grounded earlier, but I don't remember. And also the news networks, cloning that's going on there. Of course, go by what you feel. I did feel, people being grown like in trees and stuff, like clones being grown out of the ground. Well, I mean, you have a tree, but a person grows in the tree, and you open up the tree and pull the person out of it. And I mean, I'm not sure where that's happening exactly, but that's what I saw. Um, yeah, maybe in your next Twilight Zone movie. Yeah, it was like an adult person being grown. I don't think it's happening on our world, but this definitely does happen. So, I mean, the title of this is going to be News Networks actually, literally growing people, but it changes to cloning. So, the news networks has a lot of cloning energy. I would say like 50% of the people there have been cloned, at least those that are in the mainstream, like the talking heads. Most of them. No, it's so difficult to pick up on that energy. That's definitely there. A lot of that's also Anunnaki. Um, it's like they know that we're not ready for anything. I mean, some people are, most people aren't. So they're like doing this for our own good. Jeez, this gets better and better, doesn't it? And also the Men in Black remote view. Like, where are they? And I've channeled them, and I probably freak people out by channeling in them. So this is more like a remote view just to pick up where they are. Of course, I also go by what's going on. I feel like the Arcturians are working a lot with the water. the oceans, the frequencies, because a lot of worry, and a lot of that worry gets dumped into the oceans. I know it sounds a little weird, but the oceans pick up a lot of emotional baggage that we're going through, especially with fear, especially with war. So it's picking up, and then eventually you can say the ocean has to say, okay, I've had enough of this, and it might be a tornado or a hurricane or tornado somewhere, just to reset the energies. It's just we go through a lot, obviously. To jump over a little bit to the Men in Black, I feel like a lot of them are on the moon. So there's a Men in Black moon base. Obviously, in another dimension, I also feel amphibian beings, frog people there too. I see frog beings wearing sunglasses. I guess there's a Men in Black. I guess you have like frog being, sure. Why not? We're all going insane anyway, right? I like to see people really. I mean, I would like to see humanity open up to this stuff. So I guess amphibian Men in Black meetings. That's so fun. So Kermit the Frog wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses. That's so funny. And one day we'll get to see this stuff. I don't know when, but so a lot of this, these connections is just for people to tap into themselves and get their own energy of it. Let's see, it's part of the Galactic awakening. Speaking of oceans, our our ocean is kind of like a bluish green. Um, oh, I got the energy of a red color. So I would say like that's a reptilian reality being brought to us, where the oceans are red on a reptilian planet. I do see Draco there, but also another version of Earth. So it's just part of the mind control that's happening here. So other worlds are being kind of like copied on. I know it's all crazy stuff, but like other realities are being put over our like a silhouette over our planet, kind of like a grid. Another planet grid is around us. It's weird, but I see a red ocean, and I mean there's humans there, but it's kind of a dystopian reality, just like our place. Now the DC convoy that's happening, I feel like that's going to go on for a couple months. At least at the moment, that can always change, but right now it's a couple months. All right, so I'm in Total.com. I have prep sessions, scheduler, shop here. Uh, I think I'm on February 10th for some people, or 13th, but others I'm on like the 6th. So some people I'm still in the early stages of. Same situation here. We have shop here also. Oh yeah. Anyway, what is this webinar? Social networking behind the scenes. All right, back to bizarreness. So this Ukraine has a lot of fear around it, obviously. I feel like the president of Ukraine, they've been trying to clone him, but no luck. Obviously, in another dimension, in our reality, it's just some kind of cloning energy is happening with him for reasons. He's almost similar to the Trudeau, president in or prime minister in Canada. Very similar to that. Of course, there is a lot of mobster energies in Ukraine, obviously. And a lot of it is connected to oil. Something to do with oil futures. Also feel a lot of what's going on with the Saudis once again. I have to say, I mean, I see kidnapping energies too. I don't know what's up with that. Ukraine want to kidnap Saudis or something like that. No surprise there. Of course, you're not going to hear that in the news. Yeah, yeah. You just Obviously a lot of stuff what's going on in the Ukraine about the darkness is going to fully come out as it should. It's just there's so much corruption everywhere. It feels like China is trying to keep a beat on it too, because well, China is similar to the Ukraine. It has a lot of similarities there. So obviously they're going to downplay this because they don't want that happening to them. Not that they, I mean, they can handle an invasion, but still, of course, they play dirty also. But the mind control is in its people. It just it keeps the people docile and not asking questions and not aware of what's going on because they feed off of it. The government feeds off of it, and there are some galactic federations connected to Ukraine also, but they're not good. They're not giving me any names, but I just let you use your imagination on that one. So once this war is over, it might be next week, at least the combat version of it. It might be this weekend, possibly, of the capital being taken over. That's not clear. I mean, even with Iraq, of course, Iraq is a whole different story, but um, yeah, it's obviously when they take over the capital, nothing's really over. But yeah, it'll probably be another couple weeks when the fighting finally officially stops. Maybe longer than that. Yeah, that's gonna be a Roman candle. That's gonna go on for a long time. Probably, I mean, there's still gonna be issues there. They'll probably go on for at least a year, at least. Yeah, you don't just invade and everything just gets better in a couple months. Yeah, it's gonna be hostile for a while. But I feel like it's like Ukraine's and Russia's DNA. It was gonna happen anyway. Now you can say there's CIA and all that. Of course, that's happening. But yeah, it's like the Ukraine. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just that's where it needs to be right now. That's all. It has a lot to do with our future too. I mean, the future of our Earth obviously is a more peaceful future, but you have to go through the type of things to get there. Unfortunately, I mean, you don't have to, but some give you no choice. Let's put it that way. It's just the way it is. I don't see a world war or anything like that. That's just ridiculous. Now, some people are trying to create those timelines. I'm surprised it's not a Simpsons episode trying to do that, which I don't think they'll go that far. But they'll go yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. But they would if they could. Yeah, I think that's kind of pushing it. So news networks, the energy. So a lot of them been cloned. I do feel a lot of Orion energy is there. Of course, there are good clones and bad clones, but the bad ones they're just really. I mean, they have a soul, but they really don't have a soul. They're there and they're not there. And you can kind of tell that in the news agencies. They're kind of just talking heads, and there's really not much going on there. Um, yeah, and that's part of the secret space program. It's part of the galactic war that's going on. Program the people, and they also obviously because they're talking, so they're using sound technology, a vibration. Obviously, and you've heard of this before, as a form of mind control, just with them talking. So if they're using like telepathy, obviously it wouldn't work. It would have. I mean, they are using a form of telepathy. It's not as strong as just not saying anything and just saying it with your mind. But if they said it with their mind, most people will see the manipulations going on because humanity's so shut down. Yeah, we'll go into that also. So the Men in Black energies, yeah, a lot of them are on the moon. So the moon is basically a moon base for obviously extraterrestrials that are controlling reality. But yeah, I definitely feel MIB. Of course, Nevada also is where the Men in Black are. Also, like they have their like underground headquarters somewhere. I believe they're walking around physically in some form. It's kind of like they're there. It sounds strange, but like they're there and they're not there. Like somebody can see the men in black, talk to them, and then go back to that room, and they're gone. Like it'll be an office or something, and you go back into that office, and everything's clear. It's just a room. Everything's gone. That's pretty messed up. Yeah, even the Men in Black come from Orion. I mean, a lot of them have been cloned, engineered, similar to humanity, to a certain extent. Uh, the Ukraine, I mean, obviously, this is a yeah, obviously the Ukraine thing is a galactic war on many levels. I mean, really, the Ukraine thing is about the future. It's about it really comes down to a more positive future. Not that doing this is positive, but it's in the long run, yeah, it's complicated. As I said, it's but the news networks energies, I feel like little by little they'll start to show their reptilian programming, their Orion programming. I mean, they're already seeing it now, but like some of them start to shapeshift more often. They're not doing it now; they're pretty secure, but eventually you'll see like reptilian eyes within certain people, and to see strange things. Like people record it, and they'll go back and say, "Wait, that person did shapeshift." So it happens every now and then, but I feel like more of that'll happen over time. But it'll be very subtle. Like you won't be able to see it for the most part. Unless, I mean, people will be able to tap into it, but it's just not. There's just a guard there where it's not noticed currently. But as people shift their vibration to a higher frequency, these people can't hide anymore. So you wonder what this is all about. What am I doing all the spiritual work? What am I trying to heal? I'm healing my shadow self and all that. But really, this is all about putting that energy into the earth so these beings that are manipulating reality can't hide anymore. And it's not just reptilians, there's actually Venus beings causing trouble here too. There's a little bit, it's not as Martians, but also Venus beings are obviously positive Venus beings here. There's also some that are very beautiful Venus beings. They look all nice. Some models are from Venus and are manipulating our reality like you wouldn't believe. Actually, Kim Kardashian has some Venus energy connected to her. It's one of the reasons why she got into power. Something about her karma. I mean, she did do karmic, things in her past. I do see Kim Kardashian. Sorry to start talking about this, but anyway, I do see Kim Kardashian as a leader on Venus, like a political leader. Now, if she's loved or hated is another story. Probably hated, but anyway, yeah, she's always but looks has a lot to do with it, and just yeah, a lot of how people look, their hairstyle, and all of that. A lot of that comes from Venus. A lot of it comes from Mars. Mars is more like a rusty, but also elegant. Like the rose color comes from has a lot of some Martian energy. Okay, but it's just yeah, it's like a steampunk is kind of Martian. Similar to a Victorian era. It's kind of Martian. It has other connections too, but it does have a kind of like a rusty energy connected to it, to Mars, to give you an idea of what that would look like. I don't have anything to mind, in my mind to show, but to give you an idea of what a Martian vibration, at least from my perspective. But Venus is very, higher vibration, but also very manipulative. They also have Nordic beings themselves. They also have brunette beings, but these are Nordic beings against us. Like Pamela Anderson is a Venus being. Yeah, even I don't know about a goddess, but definitely someone of high influence in other realities. I can kind of see her as a politician, but not your typical type. She's connected to some kind of politics. Not that politics matters, but yeah, she's kind of like a diplomat, an alien. Yeah, so Pam. I'm sorry, but Pamela Anderson is yeah, like a kind of like a a Venus slash Saturn, even Pleiadian diplomat. So you look at Palladians, usually they look real attractive. They're all like, everybody's a model, everybody's perfect. Well, uh, Pamela Anderson is she's definitely one of them. She has her DNA, and I would say Kim Kardashian too, but she's more reptilian, more snake. So just to give an idea of like as we like unlock our reality. The reason I'm talking about the celebrities is just that vibrations coming through, just for reasons. Um, let's see. And also have diplomats that are used against us. So you can also be an. I mean, even like the actors and all that. Some of them can be used from, for good or bad. And through this is technically what we're going through is a galactic war. I mean, many star seeds here. You're kind of refugees from other planets here to help this planet. You come from worlds that have been hit by, attack. You might not remember it. We wonder why you're here. It's like you incarnate in the planet that causes all the problems, and this planet's causing all the problems. I really feel like this world's causing difficulties for other planets. And if you're on those planets, it's like, hey, it's the perfect world, everything's been fine, and all of a sudden, all these problems start. It's like, where is the source? It's Earth. It's like, okay, reluctantly, I'll incarnate on Earth to do what I can. Of course, when you come here, it's like, what was I thinking? Mm, yeah, where's the therapist? So, um, now for the news networks, the cloning that's going on there, yeah, it feels Anunnaki, reptilian. Just it's not always going to show itself completely, but obviously, there's underground cloning networks in other dimensions. Obviously, we agree upon it to a certain level. Um, and these news agencies, they do get programmed in the astral somehow. They also get turned off to spiritual, like reptilians, aliens. They that's not part of their program. They might recognize it, but it's not part of their program. Yeah, you're here for specific reasons. Interesting enough, though, the clones, some of them are programmed by artificial intelligence. What are we, like a supercomputer or a android being? So realize this is on another reality, but um, you're looking for, unlocking. Yeah. So if you feel AI energies, what does it look like? If you feel it, and it's pretty obviously destructive in many ways. Yeah, there's definitely AI influence here. I mean, you see a computer on every desk, right? You see, buying, you have to buy stuff through computers and digital, even crypto is digital. So it's showing the Archon, at least it is an Archon artificial intelligence that's here. I mean, it wants to show you that it's a living life form. Just to show you that, it's a consciousness that's not going anywhere. It's actually helping us. There are positives to it. And eventually it become more known of its origins. It does seem like a lot of it comes from everything comes from Orion apparently. Even the Archon beings come from Orion. So Archon beings also they can appear as AI, half human, half machine, or all just android. Just with the darker Archon beings, um, when they get dark, they lose their abilities. They can't create anymore. So that's why they feed off of us. And I think people know that, but not everybody knows that. Some of the Men in Black were created to, they create all these different, even galactic, you know, groups they create, or even Ashtar Command. They can clone Ashtar Command and make their own version of Ashtar Command. For example, or the Galactic Federation might create their own version of it and manipulate reality. I know that's a little bit much for some people. It makes sense when you think about it. I mean, how are we going to know? We don't see it physically, but spiritually, anything's possible. Because like astrally, you can clone anything practically. I mean, if someone is attracted to you, they can create a clone of you without your permission. Obviously, that's a little bit much. So yeah, it's messed up, especially when you find those, well, it's like an astral thing. If you find people that made clones of you, which is, obviously not an Earth problem, but eventually, yeah, think about that. Think about like there's other worlds with other clones of yourself. I mean, obviously, it's not something you think about on a daily basis. But if that idea comes to mind, there probably is there's something there to that. Lovely. Yeah, it's like when you go to the higher dimensions, like now I have to go find all the clones people made of me. So yeah, that's gets complicated, doesn't it? So let's see. The clone, the Ukraine energy. Go back to that for a little bit. There are Palladian beings helping, of course. There's always alien energy. I feel like mostly Palladian. There are some feline beings, but it just Palladian. I mean, it feels like the Palladians. Some of them feel responsible for why this is even happening. As some of them got reluctant to help us. Some of them caused a lot of trouble here, but to help with our ascension. Obviously, people are gonna have difficulties believing that. I mean, sometimes you have to do something that's wrong to do something right, and the aliens do that a lot. Well, it's the ground crew that's helping us, and they know the karma, they know the consequences, but of course, not everybody wants the karma of it. So, for example, so you have this Ukraine situation. So think about would use the Palladians for example, the tall blonde Nordics. What if they see a future that's better if Ukraine was taken over? But to do that, you have to go to war, and I think that's what's happening right now. And yeah, some of the Palladians are assisting to get karma for it, but not as much as World War II. But still, yeah, if you see a positive timeline, I mean, obviously you go by what you feel. You don't have to agree with that at all. It's completely understood. War is just, it's, sometimes you need war to find peace, unfortunately, meaning to clear out corruption and all that. So, yeah, it's hard to win a fight on that one, obviously. Um, yeah, I do feel like a lot of missing people are in Ukraine. Now, this is before the war. There's a lot of human I think I mentioned this before. Human trafficking. So Ukraine is a major human trafficking country. I think that's been mentioned here and there, but yeah, it's huge. It's where people are actually sold on the low market, but also in the high, meaning the upscale, but also the low scale too. Yeah, they're literally brought to Ukraine. It feels like it's done underground somewhere, and so that's another reason why this is happening. Yeah, it's just obviously you have to tap into it because showing it. Uh, there's some they'll make public eventually, but a lot of it be hidden because a lot of it has to do with espionage between the spy agencies. Meaning, like something like the CIA can go to Ukraine and create human trafficking, which they do on whole many places. Great. Um, at least that's the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, it's why they do it for money laundering, black projects. Uh, Not just the war our vibration, but humans are currency, unfortunately. And that's very true. Like humans are worth more than money. So if you sell a human, it's gross, but it's true. Yeah, just be thankful you're not part of that. I mean, a lot of these people that are slaves going to human trafficking, they've been trafficked on other planets too. The energy just gets hijacked. So yeah, it's really rough to see something like that in your own lifetime, but some people are going to see it because they need to. They need a wake up call uh, for various different reasons. So yeah, so I'm putting this out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is anything new. It's not something I saw earlier, but I think maybe I did. I can't remember everything. But yeah, no, it doesn't mean this war is all about the human trafficking energy. I mean, it's part of it, but huge drug trade, fuel cocaine. There, it's done in the sky through by plane. There is CIA energies there. Of course, CIA does a lot of satellite imagery. So the CIA does a lot of spying on government officials, and even put their own CIA officials in. And a lot of them are in Ukraine, right? Like double agents or something. Yeah, CIA plants are all over Ukraine. Well, I think they're getting blackmail on people too. It's kind of like you're almost like little Epstein's, like the light version of an Epstein, but they're CIA agents. Of course, you'll never hear that mentioned. You just speculate. Yeah, they go by the Epstein model, unfortunately, for the spy agencies. Some do to a certain level. Obviously, it's a twisted level, but some, if that's the only way to go for their survival. So, yeah, the Men in Black energy, obviously, that's a difficult one to tap into. Some of the Men in Black beings do have Zeta connected to them. That's why they can appear in our reality and then disappear. Men in Black, I don't feel like they really care about this whole war. Well, they are keeping it isolated, meaning you're not seeing the full capacity of the war itself. Doesn't mean it's nuclear war, but it feels like the Men in Black and other alien beings are kind of keeping downplaying a lot of it. Meaning, yeah, we're just not seeing the full picture, through the news, obviously. Similar to like Afghanistan, a lot of that was kept away from us. Yeah, so there is an alien energy there to keep us from seeing because it'll really make people mad if they saw what was really happening there. I mean, they know to a certain extent, but they're not really seeing the repercussions. You're seeing some of it, but you're not really seeing the darkness of it. And that'll just make a lot of people really upset. And they're mad now, but it'd be even worse if they knew exactly what was going on there. So obviously there's a media blackout at certain levels. Well, it does feel like the news networks are kind of paid off, obviously, right? It's like here's a bunch of money and shut up. Don't talk about that. Just stay off that subject matter. And they do. Yeah, it feels like they're getting paid off somehow. I'm not sure how. Maybe through advertising, but they are getting paid off to shut up about it. Just yeah. All right. Okay, I just leave it at that. It's been a long day. Let's keep it short. I was going to go a bit longer, but let's see. I'll go back to Ukraine a little bit more about the reptilian mind control. Obviously, it's done through the media and the people. The people are kind of told everything's fine. Obviously, they're breaking free of that, but a lot of the people there just have no idea how messed up the Ukraine is. I think the Ukraine uses taxes against people to keep them shut down. Which that's they they just do monetary manipulation, obviously. And of course, this whole Ukraine thing is going to go on for a couple of years. Well, not the fight that's going on. That'll cool down eventually. But yeah, it's just going to be ugly for a long time. Interesting. I do feel like a lot of babies will be born out of this, even in the Ukraine itself, because all else fails, have a kid. So yeah, it's never going to be the same again after this. So it's been very loose. It's been, I mean, even the galactic beings, Ukraine's been used, like, there are galactic, alien, ships or civilizations. They allow darkness to occur. I mean, you can have really positive beings and there's a bunch of dark beings. And as long as the dark ones aren't messing with the more positive ones, they don't seem to care. So that's like Ukraine. Ukraine just allowed to go to a certain level. Yeah, I just got a buzz there. I just got a I have a high pitched noise in my ear now because of that from the Zetas. Usually it's a Zeta. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Yeah, it's like so you have these alien civilizations, and it's Palladian, it's even Zeta, and you have like real positive beings. They're just awesome. The best, even reptilian worlds too. Great, like some reptilian beings will just cry, just like reading the back of you know, a package of noodles. They're just so touched by the emotion of the love and care that went into put those noodles together. I mean, they're just. Am I the only one that sees that? I can see it. Um, but then you have some alien societies where you know there's super positive, and then the other side is really dark, and they kind of just work with each other, meaning that they manage each other. Just they don't. They just want a balance, I guess. They acknowledge, yep, these guys are really dark, and they the darker ones do abduct their own people, like dark Palladians abduct more lighter Palladians. Doesn't mean it's of course there are of course human trafficking worlds, of course. I mean some of the darker Palladians, some of the are the Nordic tall blondes. They're part of this trafficking for DNA and mind control. They can use these people to create matrix realms like ours. So they hijack their souls and they just use them against their will. They program them, of course, their consciousness. You can even get someone so they can. It's like somehow they can control the soul. Like they can have the physical or kill this person and hold on to the soul's energy and force it to incarnate. And then they use those people as matrix people, as background people, but they're programmed like almost like robotic people, but they're organic, but they're programmed to not connect to spirituality and just do what they're being told. So more of that program will open up over time for people to see. So, so this Ukraine thing, as dark as it is, there is light of more people opening up to spiritual directions, not being afraid of the future. Some people, I believe, many in the spiritual community feel these wars aren't supposed to happen, but sometimes they, not to justify it, it's just life takes its course. So, all right, we'll leave it with that. All right, blessings, and catch you tomorrow. Take care.